Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We are from Group 7 of Section 3. So we're going to present our project Geology slide.
The study and on-site testing at the site are used to transform engineering geological theory into usable applications in this introduction. As a component of the Engineering Geology course, BFC 21303, the professor has scheduled a site visit to Sungai Lembing, Pahang, Malaysia. Thanks to this curriculum, we was able to learn more about geology and the engineering field. Geology is significant because it affects a root-cut rock slab stability. This outing also exposes kids to building supplies and raw materials that are based on geology. The improvement of academic and professional quality will be greatly impacted by this program and will persist for a very long time. The first objective is to recognize the many varieties of rock and minerals present in the research region. Second, to recognize and categorize the various gradations of rock outcrop weathering. Third, to look into the formation of the geological structure in a research area. Fourth, to run drills for the point load test and the Smith's hammer test. Fifth, to assess the quality of the rock mass using the rock mass rating. And sixth, using the Brunton compass and a scan line survey to collect discontinuity data. So the strength of the rocks under a certain weight is assessed in this experiment. The experiment should be carried out by the students who should also be able to understand the theory and recognize the rock strength on various Malaysian rock types. In this article, rocks and minerals were defined. Assemblages of minerals make up rocks. The mineral assemblage, mineral proportions, and the conditions of the rock's formation are used to categorize them. Chemical elements or compounds known as minerals occur naturally and produced by inorganic processes, which is Halbert 1963. Despite the fact that shells, coral, and other biologically produced materials are important components of certain limestone, they are not considered minerals under this definition. For the purposes of this guide, these components are also referred to as minerals. John Rusnak and Christopher Mark wrote the article using the point load test to determine the uniaxial compressive strength of coal measure rock. Coal measure rock were put through extensive load frame and point load testing in 6 states for the inquiry. More than 10,000 unique test results from 908 separate rock units were analyzed. Rock lithologies were categorized into broad categories in order to determine conversion factors. The point load test is a well-known technique in rock mechanics for assessing a rock strength, point load test. This index may be used to compute a number of rock strength-related parameters. Rock strength, as measured by the point load test, is an indication of intact root strength rather than necessarily rock mass strength.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Azmi bin Ahmad, which is number F20092. So we'll continue our presentation slide of our geology project, which is I'm going to present the methodology. So this study was conducted quantitatively at several sites over 3 days, which is at Pahang, and we have 5 investigations that we do, which is the geological structure, weathering grade rock, determination of rock and mineral, Smith hammer test, and also the point load test and slag durability. For investigation of geological structure, we find the deep angle and deep direction of these continuities using the Brunton compass. And for weathering grid rock, we take some weathered rock sample from Bukit Panorama. The data is collected without using special instrument because it is visible simply by inspecting the rock. And number three is determination of rock and mineral. So variety of igneous, sedimentary, and metamorphic types of rock were explored to collect the data. So there are multiple professors assist in order to make sure the data is correct. For Smith hammer test, we collecting the uses of rock data and gather it with rebound hammer and assess using UCS and also survey graph. And the last one is point of test and select durability. We analyze the data in geology laboratory detection. So it's a promising.
Assalamualaikum, my name is Nurgatin Binti Muhammad and my metric number is AF200061. So for the result, we have to investigate the geological structure and collecting the 30 data discontinuity of rocks. Firstly, we visited Sungai Pandan Waterfall and Teluk Cempedak at Kuantan Pahang, and then the rocks at Sungai Pandan Waterfall is igneous rock such as granite and basalt, while rocks at Teluk Cempedak are the same as the rock that have in Sungai Pandan Waterfall, which is granite, basalt, and dolerite. We were required to collect 30 data discontinuity for deep direction and deep angle of the rocks at these both location sites. The procedure are as below. Firstly is deep direction. So the first one, the maximum downward inclination that a vine or bat can make with a horizontal plane is known as the deep direction. Take a tiny rock and set it against a surface or slope rock to determine the deep direction. Next, look to see which way gravity will cause the rock to fall. The direction is hence the direction of the deep. The last one is level the compass to the north direction and check the direction of the bearing deep value. Every strike or dip must start from the north to calculate the value. For the second one is deep angle. Firstly, take the compass and level it with the rock slope to determine the slope or deep angle. Ensure that the bearing deep angle value is on the left. Read about the value we accomplished. The slope steepness is the bearing we obtain. The gradient or bearing from the horizontal level to the gradient of the slope rod is the definition of the term deep angle. So as we can see here in this slide, this is the satellite image of the fieldwork at Sungai Pandan Waterfall, Kuantan Pahang. And this is the 30 data discontinuity of rocks that we had collect at Sungai Pandan Waterfall. And here also we already attached the satellite image of the fieldwork at Teluk Cempedak, Kuantan Pahang. And this is the 30 data discontinuity of rocks that we had collect at Teluk Cempedak. So we move to the classification of rocks. So the site location is at Sungai Lembing, which is located at Kuantan Pahang. Usually at the site, it is difficult to identify the types of rocks and mineral accurately based on one property. These rocks and mineral can be determined with naked eyes and by performing simple tests, such as the shape, color, strike, cleavage, fracture, luster, hardness, density, specific gravity, and reaction with acid of the rock. There are various types of rocks and minerals at Sungai Lembing. For example, milky quartz, slate, granite, and weathered sandstone. So this is the satellite image of the fieldwork at Sungai Lembing, Kuantan Pahang. So this is all the example of the rocks, which is slate is a metamorphic rocks, milky quartz is minerals, granite is igneous rock, and the last one is weathered sandstone is sedimentary rocks.
Slate durability test. For the purpose of assessing how rocks will wear over time while growing in water, slate durability tests were developed. Shale and other comparable soft rocks are used in embankments and other construction-related applications. are subjected to 2 cycles of tumbling in mesh drums through a water medium. The slate durability index measures the percent loss of mass. The samples used were collected at Bukit Panorama Sungai Lembing. Below are the results for the slate durability test. Finally, the average slate durability for first cycle is 89.35% and the average slate durability for second cycle is 80.42%. This engineering geology field work camp quiz was held at the Museum Sungai Lembing, Pahang. All groups were instructed to complete this quiz by finding the answer around the museum. In completing the quiz, all students have also learned about the history of the Museum Sungai Lembing. The tables below shows the completed result of fieldwork camp quiz.
In conclusion, the objective of this study were achieved, which is to determine of rock and minerals that available in the study area, to identify and classify of weathering grades to rock outcrop, to investigate the geological structure that form on the study area, know how to conduct Smith-Hammer test and sampling work for point blood test, to do discontinuity data collection using Bunten compass and scanline survey when we at Teluk Cepedak and Sungai Pandan, Pahang. In this study, the geological site visit provided a wealth of practical information for all students. From the theory study and site visit at Sungai Pandan and Teluk Cepedak, Kuantan, Pahang, students have a deep understanding of identifying types of rock such as igneous rock, sedimentary rock, and metamorphic rock. As a result, we can determine the rock type based on the areas visited, which is sedimentary rock, and also have a general understanding of the rock structure that has been visited. The collect data will be inserted in the table based on the data and the calculations.